Hi, I'm Sean Reardon, Mayor of Newburyport, and welcome to a special Veterans Day edition of the Mayor's Corner. So we're going to bounce around the city a little bit today, okay? It's a beautiful fall day here in Newburyport. It's Veterans Day week. This whole episode will revolve around Veterans Day and some of the things I've done in the past with my family around Veterans Day. I come from a family, military family. My brother-in-law is currently a colonel in the Air Force. He's commander down at Seymour Johnson Air Force Base. So Veterans Day means a lot to us. I think it's so important to celebrate the people who have stepped up to serve our country, those who have given the ultimate sacrifice, and I think it's so important, and that's why it's so great that we celebrate Veterans Day on November 11th each year. Okay, but let's talk about a few things first, and then we're going to bounce around town to a couple different veteran spots, okay? So first, I want to talk about the election, okay? So we just had an election. It's been nice reminiscing about my election last year, kind of going through this process and seeing all these memories come up. I want to thank all the candidates who stepped up and ran for office this past year. It all comes to a head on one night, and then again you have winners and losers in elections. So first I want to congratulate Dawn Shan, who's going to be our new representative in Boston. I think she's going to do a great job for not only Newburyport but Merrimack, Amesbury, and Salisbury as well. I want to congratulate CJ Fitzwater, who ran a great campaign. It's nice we had two good people running for office, and I'm really looking forward to working with Dawn Shan, representative-elect, and we're going to set up a meeting here in the coming weeks and talk about some priorities for Newburyport that I would love her help on as she starts her work in the legislative. So that's great. One other thing, I hope everyone voted yesterday, and I don't think I talked about this enough last week. Thinking back to my campaign, I only won by 27 votes, so every vote matters. I can't hammer that home enough. So just, if you voted, thank you for voting. I think we had really good turnout for midterm election, so I hope everyone had a great election day. So just a little bit about Veterans Day around the city, all right? So City Hall is going to be closed because it's a holiday, right? Federal holiday. Senior Center will be closed, library will be closed. Our schools are closed that day. We'll do our Veterans Day ceremony here at City Hall at 11 a.m. Typically we meet, the city officials and veterans will meet up at Bartlett Mall, and we march down. We usually meet around 10 o'clock up there, and then we march down here, and then the ceremony will start down here at 11. And then once our ceremony's over, then we march to one of the stops on our tour. So I'll tell you when we get there, but then we march to one of the stops on our Veterans Day tour and finish the ceremony there. So it should be a great day if you're around. Great opportunity to come out. I don't think it's going to be too cold. Come out, bring the kids, and honor our veterans. Okay, so that's Veterans Day on Friday. Oh, and one other thing. City Hall will be closed at 4 o'clock on Thursday, okay? So this might come out after that, but I still just want to let you know. The reason why we're closed is because we have Friday off, and so we've got to make up for some of those hours, which is why we close a little bit early on Thursday, because typically we'd be open a little later. So 4 o'clock Thursday, City Hall will be closed. We had a school committee meeting this week, and the new member, Breanna Higgins, had our first meeting. She was awesome. She jumped right in, had a lot of good questions, contributed right away. I remember my first meeting, I was a little nervous going in, but God, she showed no nerves and jumped right in, and just her impressive set of skills and background, it was just evident right off the bat in the first meeting. So Breanna, congrats again. I'm so excited to work with you. I think you're going to bring so much to the committee, and again, just welcome. So you are a great addition this week. And speaking of school committee, so next week on Tuesday, November 15th, we have our joint City Council and School Committee meeting around the budget. So this is required by the charter, and this is just when we get everyone together and we review the current financial conditions of the city, right? We look ahead to the next year, we look at our expenditures, we look at our revenues, and it just kind of gets us ready for budget season, right? So when we come back from the holidays, starting in January, you're in budget season, right? So the schools are planning, the administration and the city's planning and going through all their departments, and that just kicks off that process. So this is really just to give a heads up to the school committee, the city council, and the public about where we are right now and where we want to go. And so it's going to be have a lot of great information, so we're looking forward to sharing that next week. Newburyport Youth Services, nothing new going on with Newburyport Youth Services. Like I said, we had the presentation last City Council meeting. Now it will move on to the subcommittee, Budget and Finance, where we'll talk a little bit more about the different options that were presented and how we're going to move forward. But we're in great shape there. I'm looking forward to working with all the city councilors and coming up with a great plan for Newburyport Youth Services at 59 Low Street. And another thing that's happening this week, it actually happens tonight, is the Brown School Ad Hoc that was formed begins tonight. So that's meeting at, I believe, the Senior Center at 6:30 tonight. And that's just a committee that has been formed, and we're going to look at future uses of the Brown School. So we're excited about that. I've said all along I'd love to see some senior affordable housing there. If there's a way to keep the gym and rehab the gym so it's an asset for the South End and the people of Newburyport, then I'd love to see that too. But this ad hoc committee, kind of like the ad hoc committee we just had around Market Landing Park, this is that committee that we're going to have a lot of these questions and have a lot of these discussions. So I'm really looking forward to that, and that starts tonight. This weekend, if you are looking for something really fun to do, Saturday night, it's going to be a rainy Saturday, but here at City Hall, we are going to have the Newburyport Education Foundation Lighthouse Auction. So it's the first year back in person. I used to volunteer at this event, and actually my wife, Jessie, used to do it with me. So this is the first time it's going to be at City Hall, which is exciting. So it's going to be up in the auditorium at City Hall. It's from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. And the MCs of the night are going to be Superintendent Sean Gallagher and High School Principal Andy Wolf. And I get to kick off the event with a welcome to the crowd and bring out our MCs. So I'm looking forward to it. It's always a fun night. There's so many great items up for auction, and they raise hundreds of thousands of dollars for Newburyport Public Schools every year, and every single dollar goes back to our schools. So it's a great event. If you're out and about, please join us that night on Saturday. And what else? And then at the end of last week, we actually had a Newburyport High School Wall of Fame ceremony too on Thursday that I was able to attend. I'm part of the Wall of Fame committee. I've been on there for a number of years. That too had a couple years before we had an in-person ceremony, so we hadn't put anybody on in a couple years, so we actually had a pretty big class go on, and I just wanted to highlight them real quick because it is such an incredible class. Rachel Weil-Dobbs and Nikki Mercer, phenomenal basketball players, but they were both three-sport athletes. We had Sean Sullivan. Those three people were all from the class of 2001, along with Molly Landreth-Evac, who was one of the best runners and maybe the best female athlete to ever come out of Newburyport High School. They all went in that class. Class of 2000, Chris Sheehan, who's a good friend of mine. It was great to see him get on. Class of 66, Ray Hartnett, who was a phenomenal football player for Newburyport, but he actually went on and was the sports editor for the Newburyport Daily News in the late 60s and 70s, and did a phenomenal job there. It was great hearing from him. And then one of our people that now works for me in retirement here at City Hall, he works in the parking department, but Coach Tim Foley, known for track and indoor track, had a lot of success, but he went on the Wall of Fame as well. So just I wanted a quick congrats to all of them. It was just an incredible class to go in. All were very well deserved and just really accomplished careers at NHS and have continued to give back to the community after graduation. So that was great to be a part of. It was just a really, really fun night. And that's pretty much my news and updates, but let's get to the fun part of today. So again, this is the Veterans Day edition. So we're at City Hall. If you haven't been in City Hall before, come down to City Hall, go walk down the Veterans Corridor, which is the main first floor hallway down City Hall. You'll see plaques and flags, and you'll see veterans or local resident areas, people who have served in war and got killed in action. You'll see people that served in World War II. And right now I'm standing in the fairly new, I would say probably the last 15, 20 years or so, Veterans Plaza. So this is where the ceremony will be on Friday. This is Veterans Plaza, and it's great because you can actually walk around and all the branches of our, not branches, but all the service departments in our government are represented, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard. They're all represented here. And then there's also bricks that people can actually purchase and have their veteran that they want to honor subscribed on it. And again, it's a great place for a lot of our outdoor ceremonies here at City Hall. So this is the first stop. So what I'm going to do right now is, a couple years ago, I took my kids on a Veterans Day Scavenger Hunt. Okay, and so what I did is I came up with a little rhyme and clue for each of the places that I was going to take them, and they had to figure out where we were going before we went to the next spot. So when I did it a couple years ago, this is during COVID, this was the last stop on the tour. So we're doing it a little different because I thought we'd start the tour here today. So let's see if you can guess where we're going. The first stop is one you know. It's where three courts lie in a row. There is no judge, but a tower looms. If you close your eyes, you can hear the cannons boom. All right, think about it. So the first stop after City Hall is Atkinson Common. So what's cool about Atkinson Common, the whole front here, right? So we have the Union soldier. It says 1861 to 1865 out front with the two cannons. And then you're gonna see soldiers and sailors of Newburyport, 1861 to 1865. So this is all the residents that served in the Civil War, which is so cool about Newburyport that we can go back that far and talk about our residents serving in all these major wars. We also have this monument behind us for soldiers that served in all wars. So this is the next one. Hear this one. This next memorial is between two towns. It sits on something that goes up and down. It sits above a river that shines during a full moon. It honors someone gone too soon. All right, think about it. We're off to the next spot. All right, did you guess where we are? We are on the Derek Hines Memorial Bridge. It connects Newburyport and Amesbury. Derek Hines was a wonderful kid. St. John's Prep, West Point, served his country in Afghanistan as a Ranger, tragically lost his life way too young. Wonderful family here in Newburyport. Just a sad story, but he's an American hero. And so this is one of the first things they were able to do was get this bridge named after him. His family has connections to Amesbury and Newburyport, so it's really the perfect place to go. So if you've never come out here and checked out the plaque and the memorial out here, come do it. It's just a beautiful setting, and it's a beautiful tribute to our Newburyport's own American hero, Derek Hines. Let's get to the next clue. This next stop is another all three of you there will one day go. A place for games of many sports like football, field hockey, soccer, and other sorts. This place carries a name of a famous war. Onward, forward, we go forevermore. All right, let's go and see where that next stop is. Did you figure it out? We are at my alma mater, Newburyport High School, and that's our next stop on the tour. So we're at James T. Stalin Field that we dedicated a few years back, but this stadium is originally called, and still called, World War Memorial Stadium. So this is in honor of World War I. I believe this stadium was first built in 1940. My grandfather, I think, was the first team to play here at the stadium, Warren Page. But we also have a memorial here for Howard Flash Zabriskie, who lost his life in World War II. Newburyport legendary athlete, went off to war like many of his classmates and tragically lost his life, giving his life for his country. So this is always a great stop to go to, and it's just important to know that, yes, we named our field after a legendary coach, but this field was built in honor of those who lost their lives during World War I. All right, let's check out the last stop on our tour, and here is the clue. There's an old-fashioned place where many vets lie. They fought for America and were willing to die. They believed in freedom and the American way. Our first president looks over them to this very day. Do you know where our last stop is? Follow me and we'll head there right now. So we've made it, the last stop on our Veterans Day Scavenger Hunt tour. We're at Newburyport's Veterans Cemetery. This is a wonderful spot. So we're at the bottom of Auburn and Pond Streets, right near Bartlett Mall, and I referenced the George Washington statue up there looking over us, but this is a really cool spot, right? So many veterans are buried here. This is where the ceremony will end on Friday. We start at City Hall, and then we march down here to the Veterans Cemetery. So first, I just want to give a quick shout out to Kevin Hunt. He's our Veteran Affairs Director. He puts together the whole ceremony. He takes care of all the veterans in Newburyport and surrounding area. And I know this cemetery is very special to him as well. I also want to point out Larry Sosak, who is a Vietnam veteran, lives in Newburyport, native Newburyporter. He spends a lot of volunteer hours here making this cemetery beautiful, and if you have a chance, come on down here and check it out. They put a lot of care into it. And that's our Mayor's Corner this week. I hope everyone has a wonderful week. I hope everyone enjoys the long weekend. Please take a minute to think about your veterans and the sacrifices that they made. Think about your freedom that you have every day and why you have it. We have so much history here in Newburyport, so I hope this scavenger hunt maybe just inspires some people to go out and check out some of the history that we have here, and at the same time honor those veterans. And if you see a veteran this weekend, thank them for their service. I know it might sound corny, but it's such a big deal, and I know they appreciate it. So again, have a great weekend. Happy Veterans Day to all our veterans, and I will see you next time on the Mayor's Corner.